This is called the Sarah top. Again, I met somebody named Sarah that had this top on. But I want to tell you the way I create, and I love to do this. I love to watch television. It is what I do at night to relax. Absolutely love to watch television. I never ever watch television without a pen and pencil because I copied this off of something I saw on TV. You can copy anything you want because all it is are pieces. That's all I've done, are pieces. And I've just put in the different pieces. Now I'm going to show you how to do that. So if you want to create your own look, that's great. Name it after yourself if you want to. First of all, the directions for this are in the book. So if you want to copy exactly what I've done, that's great. All the pictures and directions are in the book. And we're going to start with our master pattern. Now as far as fabric goes, choice is up to you. You can use the Sophia fabric for this. You can use the Ponte 320. The picture that you are looking at in the book, that has been done with merino wool. If you've never sewn with that, it's a beautiful fabric. If you sew with a lighter weight fabric, if it's a much lighter weight fabric, you can always fuse French fuse to it and to give it just a little bit more body. Again, totally up to you. So let's start with our master pattern. And when we do this, this is what I'm going to suggest that you do. Make yourself another pattern, another whole pattern like this, and draw on your pattern with a marker where you want to put these pieces, like what I'm doing with the Sarah top or what I've done on this one. Wherever you think you want those pieces to go, that way you can hold it up to yourself in the mirror and see where those pieces are going to go before you actually sew them together. It's just a safer way to sew. It's also a safer way to see what it looks like on you, because what it looks like on me and what it looks like on you are going to be two totally different things. So we need it to look good on you. So now when you do make that pattern, make sure that you add, if you want to, that Therese, for lack of a better word, right angle. So that's totally up to you. You could cut it straight if you wanted to and not use that, but I've done that for just a little bit more flair. So again, totally up to you. Now I've got some really wild colors here so that you can see them. And if you're from Louisiana, you're going to really love those colors. But I've got some wild colors here. So the first thing we're going to do is to create the front. And the front is created before the shoulder seams are put together. As you can see, we have pieces. We have different colors of pieces, and I've top stitched. I love top stitching. It's one of those things that it's fun to do, and it brings out the color. So you can see, even did yellow on the purple. And then after you've done these pieces and sewn them together, what you want to do is a couple different things. If you want to leave it alone, it's fine. But if you want to take this just a little step further, what you can do is you could add buttons to this. And I think these are really cute buttons. And again, I'm sure you've seen this. I don't use buttons, all the same buttons all the way along. And this would be cute to put buttons down this way. Isn't this cute? So you can have a ball with buttons. You could also put a zipper in a pocket. And a zipper and a welt for a pocket is great. And it's great in your shirt. I like pockets in the shirt, and I love them when it has detail to them. So you'll see a video on how to put that zipper into a welt. Now this is what the pattern looks like. So one side looks like this. You can see it's a solid color. And the other side looks like this. It's cut apart. All you have to remember is when you're going to put colors into something and you cut it apart, you must add a ½ inch to put it back together again, because the whole goal is to make it equal the master pattern after it's sewn. Have fun. Now, I love zippers. I'm sorry to say, I just absolutely love them. I love gold, I love silver, I love blue, I love black. I love all zippers, because to me, zippers are the jewelry on your clothes. So as you can see, the jacket that I have on, and I want to point out what the fabric is that I have on, but can you see all the zippers that I've put in the jacket? I even put them in the sleeve. I put them in the princess line. I love zippers. They don't go anywhere. They're not for anything. They're just to show you how cute I am in all these zippers. So I love zippers. Let me talk just a little bit about the fabric while I've got this jacket on. Believe it or not, this is leather, and this is French fused Sophia. Sophia fabric is my very, very favorite knit. If you've been anywhere within 5 feet of me in the last 7 years, you've heard me talk about Sophia. Sophia wears beautifully, it hangs beautifully, it French fuses beautifully for a jacket. I bet you didn't even know that was a knit in the bottom of the jacket, but it is. So I love Sophia. You want to know where to buy Sophia? You can buy Sophia at many different stores, but if you go to my website down at the bottom and click on the picture of the red top, it will take you directly to Vogue Fabrics in Chicago, and they sell Sophia in 30 different colors. So go check it out. You will absolutely love it. Try a piece and then email me and let me know what you think of it, because as you can see, I think it makes an absolutely gorgeous jacket. So let's go back to the zippers a minute. I want you to notice all the zippers that are in my jacket. Yes, I have one in the yoke. It doesn't go anywhere. It's just there for prettiness. But if you look at the jacket that I have here on the dress form, I have zippers in a welt. So these zippers actually unzip and there's a pocket in there, all right? For the one I have on, this is a little bitty pocket up here. I make pockets, not real big pockets, but I make pockets fairly small, small enough I can get my cell phone in there. So when you zip that up, you've got room for a credit card, you've got room for a cell phone, and it's close to you, so it's kind of security as well. But I also have a welt pocket in my lady legs. Now, if you don't know what lady legs are, please go back and look at the video that I made on pants variations, and it'll tell you all about lady legs. But I put a pocket up close to the waistband or to the elastic of these pants. And again, this pocket is not very big. It's just big enough to get my cell phone and credit card in there. But I like a pocket in my pants, and I like it in knit pants where it's the welt pocket. You won't believe how simple this is to put in. But I like it instead of side pockets or the U-shaped pockets, because knit reacts just a little bit differently to pockets. So I like the zipper in the welt. So let's get started putting these zippers in welt pockets. Any technique that you ever learn anywhere, whether it's from me or for somebody else, I really encourage you to do it on a scrap of fabric. Don't do it in the middle of a coat. Don't test this out in the middle of a coat. Let's do it on a scrap of fabric. Put it into your sewing supplies, keep it there, and you always have a reference. You made your own reference. So I really encourage you to do that. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to draw a box. Now, I was told at a retreat not too long ago, some lady told me that she learned to make welt pockets from a manufactured pattern, and they told her to stitch a box on her fabric, cut the box open, and very carefully turn in all those edges. That's really hard. We're going to do it on Pattern-Ease, and you're going to love how simple this is to do. So the first thing that we're going to do is to draw a box. Now, all of the things that I've been doing in all the other videos that you've been watching have been done with Sharpies. These are permanent markers. I do this so you can see. I taught a class one time and used a Sharpie marker on white wool, and it was just so the people in the back could see exactly what I was doing. And I told them they were permanent markers. You have to use fabric markers on your fabric. Lady came back the next week with her white wool, and guess what she had used to mark it with? A Sharpie. So don't be marking your fabric that you're going to wear with a Sharpie. So I'm going to draw this with a ballpoint pen, okay? You would probably want to do this with a pencil. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a 5-inch box. This is totally up to you as to how big you want this pocket to be. If you look at the pocket that I have on this coat, this is a lot longer than 5 inches. It's probably 7 inches. I didn't do it because I really wanted a big pocket. I did it more because I really wanted that zipper to show up. So most of the time, a 5 inches is fine with me, or even a 6-inch pocket. It's totally up to you. Do you notice I have that piece of Pattern-Ease folded because I'm going to make pockets to go on both sides of something. All right? Now we're going to put a zipper in this one, so I'm only going to make this 1/4 of an inch wide. So I'll mark 1/4, and I'll mark 1/4, and then I'm going to draw a line on that 1/4, like this. Now you're going to connect it down here and connect it right there. Now, because you did this, folded this over, all I have to do is turn this over and copy the lines again. Now we're ready to put it on our garment. Ready to go? So let's put the zipper in this welt. All right, so the first thing that we're going to do is I want to show you these pants one more time and show you that this zipper is about 2 inches below the waist. Now the reason you're seeing this zipper look like that is when this is on my body, that zipper is perfectly flat because it stretches out the knit. But it's about 2 inches below, so that'll give you some kind of indication as to where you want it to be. Here's a great rule of thumb. Put the box on you and look in a mirror because you can see exactly where you want it to be. Now remember I told you I thought you should do this on a sample piece of fabric, and I do. So I'm going to show you my sample. If you look at this, it looks like denim. So it's blue on one side and it's black on the other. Blue on one side and black on the other. The blue is the right side, black is the wrong side. So I'm going to take this box, I'm going to lay it on the blue side, and I'm going to take pins and I'm going to pin into the box like this. And now I'm ready to sew. When you sew this, you don't ever want to start in the corner of a box because the corners are very precarious. We're going to clip into the corners. So start in the middle of the box like this. Put your needle in. And all you're going to do is to sew on the box you just drew. So this is fairly simple to do. Don't sew over pins. So I'm going to sew I'm sewing right on that box. All right. Now when I get to the corner, I'm going to stop and I'm going to count my stitches. That's so both ends will be exactly the same because honestly that kind of thing shows up. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4 stitches to the box. Turn it the other way. So on your drawing you drew the line, so you've got a nice straight line. Go to the other end and count 4 stitches. Because your sewing machine is a lot more accurate than you are, I have to tell you. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4. Go the other way and end at the top of the box. So let me put this over here like this, and I'm going to cut my threads. Now I need to cut open this box. This is what it looks like on the wrong side. And you saw what it looked like on the right side. So when you cut open your box, you want to start in the middle. And I'm going to clip it like that. This is one of the reasons that I love Kai scissors is because they clip beautifully. So I'm going to go right into the corner and clip, and right into the corner and clip, and you want to clip right to that thread. So that's the dangerous part of it, but you want to clip right to that thread. This is why it's fun to do this on a scrap, because if you mess this up, all you've messed up is a scrap. And then once you feel comfortable, then put it in your jacket or your coat or whatever. You can also put these in an existing coat if you want to, and clip right into that corner. Now all of you people that have done this, all of you people that have done this before, that's what you tried to turn inside. So you see I've got a whole piece of patternese here. All I have to do is to turn all of this to the inside, and I'm going to show you, even without pressing it, which I'm going to, but even without pressing it, I have a beautiful beginning to my welt. Gorgeous? Okay, so now we do need to press it. So let me put it over here on the pressing cloth. And I'm going to press it. Now this turned beautifully. Some fabrics, they want to fight you just a little bit. So if they fight you, look at all these things you've got to pull with. You can use all of that patternese to pull that pocket beautifully. So I'm going to press this really good. And take your time here. Okay, I have a beautiful box. Now I'm going to fill it up with a zipper. That's all I'm going to do. Now, again, I want you to make sure the zipper works before you fill it in. And guess what? I have a separating zipper. That's okay. I'm going to cut off the bottom of this. I'm not even going to use it. I'm not going to throw the teeth away, though, because you can always use them as decoration. So what I'm going to do is to zip this zipper up. I'm going to turn this over like this. And I'm going to put glue on the back side of it. Now, when you glue this, I want you to make sure that you use a lot of glue. Don't be easy on this one. Use a lot of glue because I want this to stay on there really good. So use a lot of glue, all right? Make sure you keep your glues capped up. So I'm going to lay this on the white because I think you can see it just a little bit better on the white. Let me pull this over here just a little bit so you can see it better on the white. Now this is a nice big zipper pull, okay? So you need to keep it out of your way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay this over the top of it and just get that zipper tape in there like that. All right. Now get the zipper pull out of your way. Press this glue down in place like this. Now that's as hard as that is to do. Look how cute that's going to be with that zipper pull. Now in other welts you would have to lift this up and stitch and yada yada yada. Not when you do this kind of zipper, because this zipper is going in the pants or it's going in something else, but I'm going to actually stitch the pocket to what's left over of that zipper tape. So let's press this, give this a good press here. By pressing over something that's been glued with the glue stick, you make it set up faster, all right? So now I'm going to take this to my machine. Can you see it's all glued in? I'm going to take it to my machine. And I'm using a different color thread so that you all can see this better. And what I'm going to do is I'm not going to use a zipper foot. You can put your zipper foot on if you want to. I have a wonderful sewing machine, my little Sophia, Baby Lock Sophia, where the needle gets positions. So I can move this needle to the right, all the way to the right, and all the way to the left. So either way you want to go, I don't care. Obviously, we're going to go all the way over to the left on this one because, as you can see, I want to sew as close to this edge as I can get. All right? And I'm just going to do a decorative stitch all the way around this zipper. When you get to the end down here, you're going to turn it. But what you're going to do is make sure that stays straight. And now you get to walk this machine. Please don't put your foot on the foot pedal, because if you do and go fast, you will, I promise you'll break your needle. All right, so now we're going to go up the other side. Oops. Take one more stitch. And as close as you feel comfortable to sewing next to that folded edge. Now when you get up here next to this really big pull, get that pull out of your way. So as close as you can, put your needle in, pick your foot up, unzip the zipper like this so you can get around it. Now it's glued in there, it's not going anywhere. When you get up to the top again, I want you to walk. And the only reason I want you to walk, there's nothing there to hit, but I still want you to walk it for safety's sake. So I'm going to walk it. And walking it means just you're pulling the handle by, or turning the handle by hand, as opposed to your foot pedal. I did that again, didn't I? One more stitch. Go down the other side. Now I want to show you a little trick here. I'm going to zip this up. Isn't it cute? Now, can you see the little bit of white in here from the patternings? Just a little bit of white. You can take a magic marker, and since this is a red tape, I would take a red magic marker, or you could even use a blue one. And all you have to do is use the magic marker, those permanent markers, and go over that patternings, and it'll be red and you will never see it again. All right, now here's all the zipper tape sticking out. What am I going to do with it? I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to whack it off because I don't need it anymore. Don't throw it away because we're going to use it in something else. Is that a cute pocket? I love this little zipper pull. That's adorable. All right, so but we need a pocket, so let's make the pocket. So I'm going to turn it on the back side. Now before I turn it over, let me tell you, this is the top of my pants. This would be the waistband of your pants, your skirt, whatever. So this is the top. You need to know the top from the bottom because we need to start on the bottom of the zipper. So when I turn this over, I want to remove this patternings. I don't need it anymore. So I'm going to cut it off so you can see what I'm doing. Now I'm going to put a white pocket in here just so you can see. So I'm going to start at the bottom. Now I'm going to show you how simple this is to do. All you have to do is to put this underneath. Now this is called the cheating way to do a welt. All right, put this underneath like that. Pick the whole thing up, and I'm going to zigzag it to the teeth. So all I'm doing is attaching it to the tape. That's all I'm doing. I'm not catching it on the outside of the pants. I'm literally attaching that pocket fabric to the tape. So right on the edge, and I'm zigzagging it on. I'm going to take this off of here. I'll show you so you can see this. So can you see that it's zigzagged on? Like that. Okay. Now that's the bottom of the pocket. That goes on there first. We're going to bring this up to the top. Let's cut this off. We don't need this in there either. We don't need this extra patternings in there. So I'm going to bring it up to the top of this tape. Let's turn it over like this. And I'm going to zigzag on the tape to catch the top of the pocket. So I'll put it underneath here. And I'm going to zigzag. So now we're just going to zigzag it to the top part of that zipper. All I'm doing is catching the tape, and I'm catching the top of the pocket. I'm not sewing anything on the outside. You already sewed the zipper in. Believe it or not, you're finished sewing the zipper in because that's when you did that decorative stitch. Now you're not going to do this on every kind of zipper, but look how pretty that is. And guess what? When I unzip this, I have a pocket. Now, I got to sew up the sides unless you want your money to fall out, all right? And if you don't sew up the sides, I'll follow you around and I'll take your money. So I need to sew up the sides of this pocket. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay this down here so that you can see it. In fact, let me lay it right in front of this sewing machine so that you can see it. And I'm going to flip it over this way. Now you see that little triangle that's sticking out right there? See the little triangle? You need to go over that. You need to make sure that you go over that, and you need to make sure you go over it twice. When you sewed on the outside of the zipper like this, you stabilized it tremendously. So it's not going to pull out or rip or anything like that. So this is just an extra precaution. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold, let me get that tape out of the way. I'm going to fold this pocket back like this, or I'm sorry, my garment back like that, and that gives me kind of a straight line. So I'm going to go back to my straight stitching, and I want to do on the far left again. So I'm just going to follow this line. This is just a straight stitch, and I'm going to follow this line. When you get up to the zipper tape, to the teeth, then you need to walk it. This is just a safety procedure because I can tell you that if you start sewing over this at any speed at all, your needle will break. When you get it all on the other side of the teeth, then you're ready to sew off. Clip your threads, and then what I'm going to do is to take my scissors and cut off any excess. So I'm going to trim right next to that pocket. Now, if you're a person that puts your hands in your pockets a lot, you could stitch that twice if you wanted to. So now we need to stitch up the other side. So I'm going to pull it this way like this, and this time I'm going to go from the top down. So fold this over. Folding this over kind of gives you a guide as to where to sew. And you're only on the pocket, you're not on the garment at all. Now again, when you get to the teeth, you want to walk it. Just a safety precaution. Get on the other side. And sew all the way down to the bottom of the pocket. Get down to the bottom. You want to back tack. And then sew off. Clip your threads. Trim off your pocket. And that's all it takes to put a zipper in a welt. Now, is that cute or what? So this was the first zipper we put in, and we actually stitched all around on the outside before we started to put the pocket on. I want to show you a different way to do this if you don't want to stitch on the outside. You can see now I have a purple zipper, and I've already got the welt, so I've got the purple zipper in the welt. This time what I'm going to do is I'm going to take pins. And you would have an ironing board. I just have a mat here, but I can do exactly the same thing. I'm going to stick pins. I'm going to start at the bottom in like this. Just exactly like this. All right? And can you see that I'm right at the point where it folds? Now when I lift this up, it's going to stay exactly where I put those pins in. Can you see that line right there? That's where you would stitch. So you would pick this whole thing up, pins and all, and stitch right on that line. Now that's going to be the bottom of your welt. Go back to your table and do the same thing on the other side. Put the pins in, and you want to put the pin, we're not pinning into anything, we're just kind of really pinning into air. You want to put the pins right in to that fold. Flip this down, and see that line again? Pick the whole thing up, pins and all. You see the pins come out very easily, and sew right on that line. Then you're going to finish the pocket exactly the same way you just saw me do this one. Easy. Now, wasn't that easy, putting a zipper in a welt? Would you have ever thought it was that simple? Well, now I'm going to show you how to do a decorative welt pocket. So let me go back, refer back to my coat that you probably saw in another video. If you didn't see it, go back and check it out. This is the Cali coat. Can you see I've actually filled up the welt with a piece of the wool? Right now I'm going to show you how to do it, but I'm going to fill it up with a different color so that you can see where we're going. This is totally up to you as to where you want this welt to be. It's totally up to you as to how wide you want it, how narrow you want it. If you're going to put a welt on both sides of a coat or a jacket, I suggest you draw the box on the pattern knees and actually pin it or glue it onto the front of your garment and look in the mirror. Now, you can't just take two fronts, right? So you're going to sew the fronts to the back at the shoulder. You can baste them if you want to and take them off, but you're going to sew them to the shoulder and put it over yourself and look and see where it is. And the reason I want you to do that, I've seen people put a welt accidentally too close to the bottom of a jacket, and they hem it and they look like this, like the pocket's way down there. You don't want it way up here either. So you want to make sure, usually I start a pocket about where my waist is and either go down this way, angle down this way, or I start where my waist is and I can angle down this way. Totally up to you, or you can go straight across, or you could go straight up and down. But you need to see where it's going to be on both sides of your jacket. So I drew a box that was 1 inch wide, and I stitched it onto my fabric. So now I'm going to cut this open, just like I did the last one. And again, I'm going to cut right into the corners, like this. And when you cut into the corners, make sure you snip carefully right into the corner. So I'm going to snip right into the corner again and snip this way right into the corner. Okay? Now, because I have the box sewn on there and I have the patternings, I can throw all this to the inside like this, and I have something to pull on. Because the whole purpose behind using the patternings is that it gives you a good, clean box to work with. So let me turn it over here and show you. Isn't that pretty? So let me press this real quick. And you can see, now's the time to pull it. So you can pull it on the sides, top and bottom, wherever you need to pull it. And it's nice in a rectangle. Now we want to fill it up. You can't fill it up with a zipper. You could fill it up with a couple of zippers, but you can't fill it up with a zipper. So now I need a pocket. So I'm using white fabric so that you can see it. And I like to use a little piece of French fuse right at the top. This part of your pocket gets a lot of play, and you don't want it to stretch out of shape. So in order for that not to happen, I'm putting a 2-inch strip of French fuse right at the top of this pocket, like this. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold this in half, like this, and press a crease, like that. Okay? So now that's my pocket. Now I did that in black. Obviously, you wouldn't put black French fuse on white fabric. So now all I wanted to do is to fill up the box. So let me move this over just a little bit so that you can see this a little better. So I'm going to lay my pocket down here like this. Okay? I have to fill in the box. So all I have to do is lay this on top. And there's the top of that pocket. Right there. Okay? Now, that needs to stay in place, right? So you know the best thing to hold this? Scotch tape. Handy dandy Scotch tape. So let me get my tape. And I'm just going to put a piece of tape right at the top of this because I don't want anything to move on me. All right? Now, what you're going to do is you're going to take your pins again. And you're going to pin in, remember how we did this before, right at that edge, like this. And I would put this on the ironing board to do this, because you've pinned into your ironing board. Now, if you've not watched that video on your ironing board, please go back and watch that, because I talk about padding your ironing board to use when you sew. So now I've just got pins sticking in there. So when I lift this up like this, can you see that stitching? Right there, that line, right there. All right, so I'm going to pick the whole thing up and I'm going to stitch on that line. That's the bottom of your pocket. And that's it. Finish it just exactly the way you did with the zipper, and you have the box filled up with a different color or the same color, and you have a beautiful welt pocket. And be sure to say thank you when people compliment you. I hope you enjoyed the video. Now it's time to check out the website. Everything is on there. You can purchase the pattern, the book, all the notions I talked about. You can join the Fit Club and check out the classes where I'm teaching. And be sure to follow me on Facebook.